Hey everyone, mile marker 3. The road is no longer passable to a vehicle at this point. So right now I'm turning around. That's a good thing. That means nobody's probably going to come down here unless it's just a turnaround. That's a good thing because there's not a great amount of parking right here. There is a clogged culvert pipe. I got out for a few minutes, looked around. I can't exactly figure out where the end of it is, but I'm pretty confident that I'll be able to locate it. This is causing a little flood in the road. A little bit of water is passing over the top. It would continue to get worse over time. Very slowly, I'm going to try plowing over these thickets. Very slowly. I have no idea what could be in there. All right, I've gone over enough that another vehicle could pass. If one is to come, I don't think anyone's going to come. I hear a little hissing sound when I got out of the vehicle. One of the wheels is leaking air. That's all right. I got a full-size spare, a donut, plug kit, fix a flat. I can get quite a few flats out here before I'm forced back. So we got a culvert right here. It's flowing a tiny bit better than when I first arrived, meaning I touched the right spot. It's a smaller culvert, probably only a foot. Other side of the road, we will check that out. See, there's a little bit of water dribbling across. Pretty rocky road. It could probably go years before anything severe happened. See how they built it? Very large gravel underneath this stuff. Maybe it does have a flooding history. But here's what we got here. Definitely have to wear gloves for this one. This type of grass is like, have you ever walked through a cornfield? It's like razor blades. See this thing here? If I move my finger here, it's got tiny little fibers everywhere that'll just cut you up. I already got like 4 little paper cuts when I was looking at this earlier. So you see a tiny bit of current right there. We're just gonna remove all these rocks and I'm sure we'll find it eventually. Alrighty everybody, camera number 2 is going. Woo! I always make that noise for alignment. And then sometimes I go ahead and I shut the sound off of that camera. I used to edit out my alignment noise, but some people didn't believe that it took a certain amount of time for certain objects to go through. So I leave it in now. And as long as there's no cuts, we're good. So we're going to start by removing a bunch of this debris. It looks like it may have been beavers, but it was years ago. There's no maintenance at all. That being said, they could still be here, but it doesn't look like it. Wow, the grass rooted right to the log. That thing's slippery and heavy, very waterlogged. Ugh. Oh, we got a whirlpool in here. We did. Oh. I feel the ribs of the culvert. We got to get this rock out of here. I'm already soaked. I don't care about flooding any of my boots. Where is it? There's the end of it right here. Oh, spider friends. There we go. Oh, it's getting loud across the street. That rock that was here, whether that was done by the installer or not, it made the pipe kind of dip a little bit, but no big deal. Oh, a nice big whirlpool now. We got it about 1/3 of the way open. Let me show you guys. This is gonna be a pretty nice whirlpool. Oh, there's mud. That camera leg needed a little adjustment because there's a ton of sinking mud. Big log right inside the pipe. Thankfully, it's not that deep. No Delta P hazard here. That is satisfying, the amount of pressure. I try to block the tiny pipe with my hands like this. Let me do it for a minute. You hear it slowing down across the street? That's so fun. And there's a cute little frog here. I'm gonna roll that rock back out of the way a little more. Maybe we can get this one out too. One, two, three. A heavy rock. Out of the way. Let's roll this one a little more. That's actually beneficial. It'll stop any debris, like random floating sticks, from getting to it. All right, we're all clear. Give it a minute. Watch as the water going in and the water exiting quickly clears up. Wow, we're flowing so good. Take a look at what it's doing right off camera. Look at that. Awesome. Moving camera too a little bit. That is so nice. And it's clearing up already. Just give it a few moments, it'll clear up nicely. Yeah, that was definitely beaver related, but it's been at least a few years. Maybe they've been trapped. It's probably a secondary pond. That is, if it is still in use, which I don't think it is. Let's get that big log out of there. Let's send it through, that'll be fun. Whoa, it's gonna come through like a torpedo, we gotta see that. Whoa! Oh, here comes the Whirlpool again. The Whirlpool's having a problem because you see how the current's coming around that rock like that? If I tip that rock, it'll make a better Whirlpool. Let me move that out of the way. Good, still nothing stuck. Well, now the water got a straight shot. It didn't do what I thought. Well, actually it's trying. It's actually running more efficient like this without the Whirlpool. Look at all that oily crud from the swamp. That's fun seeing too. I'm gonna empty out my boots in the time being. That is so much fun. I'm having way too much fun with this culvert. Yeah, check that out. That is cool. Camera doesn't like my wet hands. There we go. Let me show you that again. That was fun. Water's clearing up. Every time I do it, the air kicks, and it's so fun. Watch that. Boom, boom. I wonder what that's doing on the other side. That might be the most fun culvert I've ever messed around with. That is so much fun. I could do that all day long. That's such a fun culvert. Time to get out of the water, empty out my boots. That thing is really close to capacity. It's got a ton of pressure. That thing is really fun. Whoa! Put the boots upside down. Wash off my feet. Nice. Good enough. I'll dry them out completely tonight. Still not completely clean. Making some cool noises though. Some nice farts. Well, take a look at that. See that down below? Culvert has a hole in it. That's fun. Oh, whoa. This culvert just keeps getting more fun. Take a look at this, everyone. I'm gonna go ahead and plug the end of that with my hands. Watch what this does. Yep, it'll do that even louder when I plug it. You see, if this culvert was another 3 feet down, it could become literally deadly. If this culvert was 3 more feet down, even now, if I completely sealed that with my stomach, it could potentially hurt me. Reason being, when you put your hands there, you have the weight of the entire culvert up until its break point. What that means is here, well, that's actually letting in air, but if it wasn't for that, the break point could be somewhere underneath the road. You have to take all that weight, and that's what's gonna try to pull you. If this thing was down even more, the break point would be further, plus it has that water pressure. That's when it would become even more dangerous. Oh, we're losing water fast. Pretty soon this will be breathing air, and that's when the fun's completely gone. We're gonna make this thing fart really loud one more time. Oh no, it's sucking too much air. The water's getting too shallow. It's getting shallow fast. I just sent a piece of wood through. Ah, no more fun? Maybe with my hands I can do it. No more. I guess that's it. It was fun while it lasted. Yeah, the suction's just about over. This thing's sucking air like a snorkel. That's the break point, this. There's no more good suction in there. Which also probably means it probably wouldn't be as fun at the other end. You know, actually it still would be. There's still a ton of water going through this. Fun's over. Water's almost completely clear. It's still creating an undertow. That's why that's still dirty. I'm gonna move that rock back in the middle, like earlier how I discussed. That'll actually stop debris from getting close. I just thought it would have made a cool whirlpool moving it over. I guess not. Oh, looks like I'm probably gonna flood them again. Oh well. It's gonna become real muddy again. There we go. Now that the water level is low, if a big stick was to float over during a storm, that would probably catch it before it got down here. But if there's beavers, there's no stopping it. It's gonna clog back up, 100%. Wow, I'm so dirty. And I'm also very cut up from this grass. I'm accidentally scraping it all the time. Looking around at the edge of the pond, we probably lost about 5 inches or so. No longer crossing the road. Now that the water table's going down, those puddles will dissipate within a few hours. Other than that, this culvert's in relatively good shape. It's a good thing this road's rocky. If it was muddy, a truck would easily crush this thing. Not very strong, being plastic. This may actually be broken. It's all scuffed up. An excavator probably is responsible for that. That dirty flow, that might not stop, actually. We got a pretty good undertow. That might go on for an hour. Who knows? Well, I'm going to let the camera run for a little bit. Let this thing go down a little bit, but this is about it. I will check in at the end once it gets below the culvert. I'm going to stay until then. Hope today's video was interesting. It was a lot of fun for me. Thanks for watching and have a great day. I'm going to go get changed. Yeah, not nearly as turbulent on camera number 2. Almost to that point where it's going to let air in. Is it strong enough to do this? I should have done that earlier. Yep. Oh, it went plump out the other side. That's always fun too. If there's enough current to send a rock through there. That'll actually rattle things out of the way sometimes. I doubt in this situation there's anything stuck in there. I had that work successfully once. There was enough current to bring a rock through. It could have got stuck, but no, it smashed something out of the way I couldn't reach in one of these smaller culverts. We're about to hit that point where it's about to break. In the meantime, let me show you something that I discovered over here in the past few minutes walking around. So, the water here is barely trickling across the street anymore. This will go away because that's going to drop it back another foot by the time it gets to the bottom of the pipe. There was such little flow here. That pipe will handle it with ease. But this is a beaver dam. When we started, the water was over a foot higher than the road. And that's a problem. It's putting... Beaver ponds are beneficial because they push down and recharge the aquifer. But the problem is it can come back up sometimes. It can seep through the road with pressure and wash it out from underneath without you realizing it. This is pretty rocky. I don't think there's much of a risk here the way they built it. They built it for this. But some cases that can be a problem. I just discovered that's the beaver lodge. To me, it looks abandoned. But further up here, I believe there's another dam there, and there could be another pond up there. There could also be ponds further downstream. Take a look at this rock. We lost at least 8-9 inches of water so far, and there's some kind of duck poop on top of it. I do not see evidence of beavers. If they were in that lodge, we probably would have seen them. Very angry. Beavers are very unlikely to attack, but the chance goes up when it's a really small pond. They become territorial. If it was a giant pond, I wouldn't be really worried about it. But this is when they might defend their territory, especially if there's babies in there. Like that one time I got chased by the giant beaver. Beavers sometimes can get big. They're typically 30, maybe 40, 50 pounds. But every now and then, there's a gigantic one. Look up videos on YouTube. Sometimes they get up to like 80 pounds, and they have a lot of muscle. They look like a bulldog. That's how they can pull these giant trees, move big rocks into the way. If it's a rocky river like Whitewater Rapids, they'll build dams out of just pure rocks. And then in the fall, when the leaves all start falling, it'll help plug all the holes. Typically, those dams don't last. They fail because those rivers during flood stage take them all out. So I think the beavers also kind of know that. We're about to hit that tipping point right now. It's not really going to make a difference on the other side, to be honest, because it's using that as a snorkel. If that was sealed, that would make quite a difference. If that was sealed, that would be sucking air already, just by pressure. Look at those dirty, dirty, nasty bubbles. All oily from the swamp. It's just swamp bubbles. That's natural. It's not like it leaked out of something. We're really close to that tipping point. When we started, the water was probably up here, 8-9 inches. We're about to hit that point. It doesn't even want air because it has this snorkel. Can I plug that enough with my hand? No, I can't plug that snugly enough for it to start sucking there. But once it hits that, it's going to get all that nasty bubbles in there. If by chance there is an angry beaver here, they'll plug this thing up overnight. Like I said, if this is a secondary pond, because it's very shallow, I do not see how they would have survived the winter. It could have filled in with silt, but that lodge, maybe the beaver didn't think it through, because they would swim around underneath the water in the winter. They store logs underneath the water because they eat the bark. They sink it so they don't want to leave in the winter. They're very vulnerable if they leave the pond, especially when it's all frozen. But I have seen them on trail cameras. They do venture out sometime in the winter. They do not hibernate. They just stay underneath the ice and in their lodge, typically. This looks like it could possibly freeze solid. But then again, it's a swamp. When you have a lot of rotten material, it generates heat. So there's a chance it may not freeze solid. That would be the only way it wouldn't freeze solid. If you have a lot of stuff rotting, creating heat. but that does not look active to me. There might be a bigger pond, so if this has become a secondary pond, they will come and do their maintenance. Like I showed you, this is a dead-end road. Even if it washed out, it wouldn't matter. I'm doing this today just for fun. I'm glad that these ponds and these culverts are finally starting to run again. All summer I was getting worried. All these ponds were basically dried up. It's good to see them flowing again. Oh, it's starting to go. It's starting to go. It's starting to go. It's getting close. Here comes the nasty swamp bubbles. Oh, almost sucked that one in. Finally got one. Gone. Yep, now it's going to start taking them all in. All the water's running clean. Just a couple little particles in the water. Running very clean now. The bottom's turned into a nice sandy stream bed. And by tonight, this will be left with just a little trickle. If there's any beavers downstream, I'm sure they appreciate all the extra water. If this is a secondary pond, those beavers are going to be very angry. Alright, we're finally sucking in that nasty swamp bubbles. This location was a lot of fun. And we're going to shut camera number 2 off. I hope today's video was interesting. It's all starting to turn crystal clear. Thanks for watching. Ooh, something just ran across the road. Ooh, was that like a shrew? That may have been a shrew. Or a vole. Much bigger than a mouse. And it was black. It wouldn't have been a chipmunk.